Well. I am back again in my turrets. And as you see, I am all alone again. That last trader was not working out, so I had to dismiss them. I like working alone. What can I say? I'm a creature of habit. I like talking to you all by myself. I enjoy this moment, this time between me and you. So I'd rather do it by myself. Hello, and welcome to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And we can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I am your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I loves me some tea. Purr. And if you have some tea, you know what to do. Hit me up. Uh, I am just drinking on some water right now. It's been a long day, but not long enough to keep me away from talking to you about Traitors UK. Period. But what I do have is my cup mug. And since it's just me, that makes it a panel full of cup mugs. Panel full of cup mugs. Beer. Traitors edition. Traitors UK, that is. And you can get your cup mug at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses, none whatsoever. So get your, well, unless your postal service is doing a little delayed thing. But you have to know, a delay is not a deny. So it might come a little late, but you still get it. So get your cup merch. Period. And we are going to dive right into Traitors UK, episode 6. But before we do that, y'all know what I'm about to say. If you watch any of our coverage, you know what I'm about to say. I am trying my best, and I am going to work very hard this year in order to get the Cup TV channel out there to 1,000 plus subscribers. And so I need your help. I am going to work hard to give content on time, right when it happens, so I could, and I make that promise to you. All I need you to do is hit the subscribe button. It's free to do that. You can just hit it. Tell your friends who like Traitors or any of our other competitive reality shows that we cover, and tell them your friends to just support this channel. And if you have a reality show that we're not covering that you would like us to cover, let me know in the comment section below, and maybe we'll get that happening for you. I might start watching some more things and ready to talk about it. So let me know. So hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You can also go to our links in the description below to follow all of our other channels. Hit those links and follow them and subscribe to that channel as well. Those channels as well. We have 3 other ones. We also need you to go to our audio podcast links. Follow us on our audio podcast links. So just in case you need to listen to us on the go, as well as our Patreon, which we are giving early access to things and exclusive content across all 4 of our channels. And I am going to work harder at getting some exclusive content for the Cup TV channel as well. So if you want exclusive content that is never going to be shown on the channel, join our Patreon. And let me know in the comments what you want to see on the Patreon. Let me know, and we could make it happen. So do all of those things. Follow us, support us, and we'll make it happen. But I'm gonna get out of villainous mode and traitors mode, and let's talk traitors, because baby, episode 6 did not disappoint. Episode 6 was quite interesting. So I'm going to bring my trusty people on the map as to, and I don't think I should be that big. Well, that's equal. Why not? Why not? That's equal. We'll do that. But so everything has gone down. Let me turn off the ticker so you can see the names at the bottom. Everything has gone down, and Tyler was banished from the house. Everybody was upset to see Tyler go. And they were like, we lost another good faithful. It's just, it's so sad. People were feeling gutted because they were like, I truly, honestly thought he was a traitor. I just knew he was. And it just it hurt a lot of people's heart that he was a faithful. Leon felt guilty. Dan felt guilty. Everybody cares about how guilty they felt because they thought he was a traitor and he was a faithful and a good faithful at that. And so people started to feel a little hurt and a little bad about it. Um, so people were just like, we don't know what to think. We don't know how to feel. It was just a lot of feelings going on that night after the round table. So the next day, after everybody went to bed, the next day, we go to the turret and we find out what the traders have talked about and who they decided. The short list was Freddie, Livy, and Anna. And they were like, those are the short list of people who we would want to, go. And so they made their decision. And both Linda and Mina agreed with the choice that they made, and they murdered Livy. Livy was gone. Womp womp, poor Livy. And honestly, it was a good choice because it still puts the heat on Freddie, like they wanted, and nobody would think those two would murder Livy. Um, Linda said that her and Livy were close, even though, well, others thought otherwise. um, it was interesting. So Livy's gone. She's murdered. And everybody comes down to the breakfast table. And once they discover that the person who was gone was Livy, everybody's shocked. And I was like, what? What? And then Linda just burst out crying out of nowhere. She's just crying. She was like a daughter to me. She was like a daughter to me. Now everybody's like, why is Linda crying? Why is Linda crying? What is she crying about? And so they're like, are you okay, Linda? She was like, we were so close. She was like, and everybody's like, when did that happen? Like, when? When did you and Livy get close like that where you could just start busting out crying? Just, and Linda was like, yeah, we're very close. That just put up red flags for several people. They were like, Linda, you are doing too much. And Mina was like, oh no, she's doing way too much. The crying is a little too much. Like, you act shocked, but you don't have to cry. Because just the night before, which Jake brought this up, Jake was like, I had a conversation with Linda, and she was like, I'm just an emotionless person. That's just who I am. And now she's busting out crying because Livy is gone. And they're like, what happened to being emotionless? Like, what? So Jake is like, yep, 100% is Linda. You can't tell me otherwise. I know it. It's Linda, and I'm going for her. I'm gunning for her. I know it's her. And it's just wild. It was just wild. Um, it was people just was like Linda, like Leanne was questioning Linda at this point now. Fazia was questioning Linda at this point. Jake, of course, had always been questioning Linda at this point. And then I got Freddie to wonder about Linda. Everybody's like, what's this? Alexander was like, okay, has she always been like this? They were like, no. No, she's not been like this. So Linda has just raised the red flags for everybody. But this is at breakfast, and we know everything in this house changed in an instant. So they go on. Claudia comes in, lets them know that they do have a mission coming up, and That's just what it is. So everybody leave the breakfast and they still like, what was Linda crying about? What? Like, huh? Linda, what are you crying about? That does not make any sense to me. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. What was she crying about? But that just raised red flags. Dan was still going on his little spiral tangent about how he felt guilty, which for me, I was like, okay, are we losing Dan, or is this like his arc to show him getting closer and closer to the end? Not that we were getting backstory, we were just getting a lot of Dan, more Dan than we usually get. So I was like, okay, what is okay? We might be. I won't say he is or not, but I'm just saying we might be. Um, and so they're going through the whole thing and still trying to figure out what was going on with Linda, still throwing out other names. Anna is concerned if she should tell people about being recruited, but turning it down. All of that was happening. And so she did end up going to tell Fazia, I'll keep calling her Fazia and Frankie, I think she told, yeah, it was Frankie. And she was like, I just want y'all to know that I was recruited, but I turned it down. And Fazia almost didn't believe her. She was kind of like, I don't know, why would you not say something before? But then she kind of like backed off from it and was like, okay. She was like, but I'll see if she brings this up at the round table, or is she just going to tell people in secret, like groups of people, and not everybody? Because that would be suspicious to me if she wouldn't, tell everybody or whatever that she was recruited, but she turned it down, unless she didn't turn it down, and then that would be something. And so Foz just like, okay, and it's like, you can believe me, you not. I'm just trying to tell you what happened and what it is. So that is that. Um, so we go to the mission because really nothing happens before that. So they go to the mission, and the mission is called. It's basically guess who. It's a guessing game. It's like guess who just marked you. I can't remember what they actually called it, but they all were lined up, they were wearing masks. They were selected by Claudia through with their names in a bag and in pairs. And then they had to go and discuss who they wanted to mark. And once your partner picks the person that they want to pick, you let them know. You put the bucket and mark that to put behind the person. You put a bucket behind the person, and that lets them know that they are marked. And once they're marked, the guard will come, take the bucket, and pour what's inside on their heads. And it is brown, gooey, sticky. Come to find out, it was probably molasses. So to know that somebody had brown molasses stuck in their hair, or just poured down their back and then their hair and then their head, it's like, okay, gross. Um, so the first pairing, I should have wrote this down. I always say I'm going to write down these pairings, but I never do. But I think it was Faja and Joe. I think I'm right. And so they were like, just try to pick somebody who wouldn't think it was us. So they picked Anna, and she got the goo poured down her. So she was like, oh my God. It was all over her face, in her eyes. She couldn't even open her eyes after a while. She's like, oh. So you have to guess. If you guess correctly of who marked you, you get to stay. And they have to leave. And they all are wearing shields. So this game will continue in that way until they're down to 3 people with shields. So 3 people are going to end the game with shields. And so if the person who is marked guesses correctly, that pair gets out. If the person who is marked guesses incorrectly, that person has to give up their shield and go. Anna guesses incorrectly, so she has to throw her shield in and go. So this continues, and Mina is having a fit just by watching Anna. She's like, please don't mark me because I don't want this goo in my hair. And baby, okay, black woman to black woman, and I'm sorry if you don't understand. If you don't get it, I get it, I understand. But for black women, getting goo in our hair is the hardest thing to clean and wash out. And like, we don't have to wash our hair every day. Like certain, like our counterparts and white women, we don't wash our hair every day. So, and the styles, it takes a longer time to do it, to straighten it and get it. Wash day is a thing. We have wash days for a reason. And it's like, okay, this is the day I'm going to dedicate to washing, conditioning, moisturizing, oiling the scalp, getting it all together, blowing it out, straightening it out. It's a long process. It's a long process. And I'm sure she didn't have all of her products, all of her straighteners and but like I'm sure she didn't have everything she needed to get her hair back to the pristine way that she had it. Like her hair was always straight to the gold. Like she got her fresh silk pressed right before she got there, and it was good. And so she didn't want to have to go through that again because it's never going to be the same when you do it than when you have somebody professionally do it. I get it, Mina. I get it, girl. I get it. So she was like, please don't put the goop in my hair because it's just going to be too much. I don't want to deal with it. And more people were losing left and right. They were losing. We lost Jake in this moment. We lost Freddie. We lost Leon. Leon, we lost a lot of people. And then Dan and Leanne, they were up. And Dan said choose Mina because Mina is closest to him and closest to Leanne. She would never think it was them. So Mina gets marked and she's like, oh my God. So she's freaking out because, of course, like I just said, the goop in her hair is a nightmare to deal with. And so she looks at Leanne, at Dan, and was like, Dan promised me it wasn't you. And Dan was like, I promise it wasn't me. And she said, Leanne promised me it wasn't you. She said, Leanne was like, I promise it wasn't me. And so she was like, okay. So she guessed someone else. It was incorrect. So she had to go. So she's a little hurt. So this plays out. Leanne gets caught by, I can't remember. Alexander, I think it was Alexander. And then Dan and Alexander goes and they do Frankie. And Frankie is like, Dan promised me it wasn't you. Dan's like, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. And so she guesses incorrectly. So she's out. Alex gets out. Lisa gets out. And then it came down to Linda and Fazia and Alexander and Dan and Charlotte. And so Linda gets targeted by Alexander and Fazia, and Linda guessed Fazia, which was correct. So Fazia and Alexander had to go. And so Linda, Charlotte, and Dan won the shields and safety for the night. So they're very excited and happy. Yay, can't be murdered, even though Linda couldn't be murdered regardless. So they're like, yay, all right, this is great. Woohoo. Everybody's so excited. So Linda, like I said, those three get the shields, they're safe. So we get back to the house. Frankie is a little still trying to figure out who marked her. And people talking like, do you think people are going to be honest? Do you think people will tell the truth? Do you think people are going to say things? And Dan had already made up his mind. He's not saying anything. And Alexander was like, I'm going to tell Frankie that it was me just so I can build trust, but I won't throw you under the bus because that's not my place to do that. You know, do you mind? And Dan was like, you can do whatever you want to do for you. I just feel like I don't feel the need to say anything, and it's not how I want to play this game. And Alexander was like, that's fine. For me, I'm playing a whole different game than you. And Dan was like, that's fine. You do it just for you. And Alexander's like, absolutely. So Alexander goes and tells Frankie that he was one of the people that marked her. And she was like, who else? And he was like, that's not my place to tell. And hope you respect that. I don't want to throw the other person under the bus. If they want to tell you, they'll tell you. When Frankie was like, okay, I get it. I understand. That's fine. But thank you for being honest with me. And apparently guilt was running rampant because some people felt super guilty about doing it to the people that they did it to. Like Leanne, she felt super guilty about doing it to Mina because her and Mina are really close. So she goes and tells Mina, me and Dan did it. So I'm like, Leanne was not trying to go ask Dan if he minded her telling Mina. She didn't care. She was like, I'm going to get this off my chest and I'm going to tell you everything. I'm telling it all. Girl, I am so sorry. Mina, we didn't want to do it, but we did it. We really wanted to shield, and I am sorry. Me and Dan did that to you. Not just me, but it was me and Dan. And Mina was like, oh my God. Oh my God, I asked you. And Leah was like, I know, I'm so sorry. Like, baby, she was giving me, I know this reference might go over some of y'all's heads, and I know, I'm sorry, but she was giving me Gina from Different World. Girl, I know, girl. Life is a funny thing, girl. Like, I'm so sorry. Girl, I am so sorry. I know, I love you so much. I am so sorry. I mean, it was like, why did y'all lied straight to my face? I told you. And so she was like, and I hate that Dan haven't said anything about it. He didn't even tell me, and I don't know if I can trust him. So she told him, don't tell him you told me. I need to know if he's going to come and tell me himself. And I'm just going to wait and see if he tells himself. So Mina was upset. She was like, but if he don't, wrong move, Dan. Wrong move. And so I was like, oh, well, we'll see what happens. So, it was just like wild. People were just like, I don't know. People were still on Linda. People who were going to be on Linda was stuck on Linda. They were not changing their minds. And people, it was just crazy. So going into the round table, I was like, oh, well, this is going to be Linda. This is going to be the end of Linda because it just seems like that was where the tide was shifting. And Mina knew it. Mina was like, I feel like Linda's going to get a lot of names. And since Dan betrayed my trust, I have no hard feelings of what I'm about to do. And I was like, ooh. She was like, I'm going to throw him under the bus. And I'm like, ooh. I mean, I knew this had to happen. I didn't think it was going to happen right now. I thought we had a couple of more, episodes to go before Mina was going to actually have to get rid of Dan. And I thought Dan was going to be murdered, not banished. But, well, or attempted to be banished. Like, I didn't think they were going to make it, he was going to be, attempted to be pushed to be banished. I thought she would just murder him so he would get off her. But we went into this round table and Jake was like, I'm going to start it off. Linda, we're going back. It's like a record. The record player is back. The needle is back on the record. And I'm spinning the block with you again. Linda, it's you. I know it's you. I've been saying it was you. And I ain't going to stop saying it's you. Because it's been some things that has just not computed and not added up. Especially this morning when you started crying over Livy. And like, what? You just told me you were emotionless and all of a sudden you crying. And she was like, yes, because me and Livy was close. And so everybody's like, since when? Since when were you and Livy close? Like, what? When did that happen? And she was like, we've been close. And she was like, and I just feel so bad that you all think that. Like, I wouldn't have. It was just like, it was wild. It was wild. So Linda is like, and then she starts crying again. I was like, oh, girl, they didn't believe your tears the first time. They are not going to believe your tears now. Stop it. Like, stop it, girl. They not going to believe your tears. But she was just like, and they're like, you've been very quiet lately. And before you just talk so much. And she was like, well, that was part of my strategy. I really wanted to just go in and be low key and just talk well, not talk, but listen. She says you observe a lot and you learn a lot by just listening. So that is what I wanted to do, just listen. But people was like, I don't know. I don't know. And so then the conversation shifted, and it shifted to Dan because Frankie started talking about the mission and how she wanted to know who marked her. She was just like, I just really want to know. It's just like, I feel like I've narrowed it down to either you, Linda, or you, Dan. And Dan was like, why is it to us? It was other people there. Why would you think it's me? She's like, well, I asked, others, and they told me no. And it came down to you and Linda. And you are one of the people that walked away with the shield. So nobody guessed correctly with you. So I'm just breaking it down. And just Dan was like, it could be anybody else. I don't know. And so people were like, I mean, well, why would we lie about it? Why would you just lie or just tell the truth about who you marked? If you mark someone, just say that. Like, I don't understand why that's the lie you go hold on to. And so Frankie was like, Alexander, do you want to tell me who it was? And I was like, I didn't want to put anybody out there like that. And Dan was like, giving a look like, don't say nothing, bro, don't say nothing. And so, but Alexander was like, but how valuable is that information to you? I would really like to know. And she was like, it's very valuable to me. And Alexander was like, well, I don't, you could just tell he was about to fold and tell her. And then was like, okay, never mind, I'll just say it was me. And Francesca was like, thank you. I just really wanted to know. And why would you lie to me? Like, I looked right in your face and asked you, and you lied to my face. And I thought we were better than that. I thought that wasn't who we, like, is that who we are, Dan? And Dan was like, I don't have to tell people everything I'm going to do in the game. I don't have to tell everybody every single move I'm going to make in this game, because that's not how I play. And everybody was like, but it's a team game and you're playing it very singular. And he was like, that's how I play games, very, very singular. And this is a singular game because, yes, we're all faithful. We're all faithful because I am a faithful. If you vote me, you'll find out I am a faithful. But I'm also trying to look out for myself. And I don't feel like telling somebody that I marked them and have risked them being upset with me it's going to be beneficial for me. And I understand it to a point. I do understand to a point. I don't understand not telling the people that are closest to you in the game, especially if they ask you to your face. You don't have to tell them right then. You can tell them after the fact. Like, you could have went right to them when they got home, like, oh, by the way, I did kind of mark you. I knew you wouldn't pick me. I know that sucks, but I really, really need the shield because I don't think I was going to survive the night if I didn't have the shield. Like, you could have went that route and told them as soon as you got back, but instead you didn't. And then you continued to lie. You sat at the round table and lied. So then Mina interjects and is like, then I knew you did it, and I just wish you would have told me because you lied to me. She's like, and Leanne did the same thing. She said, yes, but she came and told me. And you didn't come and tell me. You just decided to take something now at the round table instead of just owning up to it and not lying about it. And so then it's like, why is this mission the most important thing right now? Like, why me saying I did it is so important? And he's like, because it's about trust, and I can't trust you anymore. So Mina was like, I don't know if you are faithful or a traitor. She was like, I just don't know, but I just don't trust you. And she said, that's hurtful. That bothers me. Like, I can't trust you anymore. And in that moment, I was just like, Mina, girl, you knew you needed to get that heat off of Linda, and you threw Dan right under the bus, right in the fire. And Linda needed a shield, and Dan was it. Like, literally was like, I don't know if, like, she never said, I know you're not a traitor. I'm 100% like, you ain't make that mistake. You don't never say you're 100% sure that somebody's a traitor or 100% sure that this person is faithful. But she was like, I don't know if you're a faithful or a traitor. All I know is I can't trust you. And to hear that from Mina, of all people who everybody seems to love and trust, everybody was like, wow, man, I don't trust you. I don't know. And so, And so it was just like, wow, that was masterful. That was a masterful move by Mina to protect Linda, throw Dan in the fire, and just let it burn. Because baby, once those votes came in, we had a vote for Fazia from Linda. We had a vote, two votes for Alex. Um, I think it was four votes for Linda. But those votes went for Dan like crazy. So Dan was banished from the house. And I was like, wow, well played, Mina. Well played. You didn't say he isn't 100% faithful or 100% a traitor, but woo-wee, you, mm, mm, hmm, yeah, you ate it up. So Dan's gone. So Dan gets to the circle of truth, lets everybody know that he is in fact a faithful, and everybody's like, oh. And Jake's like, I knew it. I knew it. It's Linda. It's Linda. I'm telling y'all, it's Linda. He's so right. But oh, I don't know. Linda's days are numbered, I think. If they don't let Jake go, if they don't banish Jake at any point or murder Jake, our days are numbered. The longer Jake is in this game, the longer the shorter Linda's time is in, because he's going to continue to beat that drum, and there's nothing Linda will be able to do about it, and it won't be anything Mina will be able to do about it. So it was wild. So Dan's gone. Everybody, Frankie is hurt because she knew he wasn't a traitor, but she hate that he lied and how he played the game. Everybody is panicking. Everybody's, oh, by the way, Anna does announce at the roundtable that she was recruited and said no, and that's what her suspicions from like Alex, who she voted for. And so people at the roundtable like, that was very brave of you to come and say that, that you were recruited and you turned it down. She was like, yeah, my days are numbered. I know I'm not going to be here. I thought I was going today. It was kind of wild. It was kind of wild. But then we find out that there is no tour meeting for the Traitors tonight. In fact, they have a mission. And watching Traitors US, seeing what the mission was for the Traitors. This in episode 3. If you want to check out our UK, not UK, US Traitors coverage, I'll put the link right there. Bing! It's that way. It's this way. But yeah, so it'll be up there, and you can go check out our coverage and see what we're talking about, Traitors US. But yeah, it's wild. So they have to go find a pen, a peacock's quill, a pen in the library. Take that, go to the bar, and there's a picture hanging up right by the bar. And they have to write 4 names down on this painting. And that 4 names will represent the 4 people who you put on your short list. And those 4 people will have to play a game in order to stay alive. And so Mina and Linda are wandering around the house trying to find each other. And they finally find each other. They find the peacock quill. Linda takes it, puts it under her wrap, and so she goes. Well, they discuss who they want to pick. They pick really quickly. Linda already says, Mina tells Linda that Jake is, he might not be the best choice, or the heat will be on her for sure. So Linda, they pick out the names who they were going to pick, and so Linda goes into the bar and she starts writing the names on the poster. And we see people walking around, look like they're heading to the bar. Mina's on lookout. Then she comes in and people are walking towards the bar, but they never come in the bar. They write the names down. They write the names down of the 4 people that they want to put on the short list. and they get away with it unscathed. Nobody sees them, so we think. Um, so the 4 people who were marked for the short list of potential murder victims were Leon, Fazia, Alexander, and Anna. So when everybody's getting taken to um, their their living quarters for the night, these 4 are driven off into the woods, into the cemetery area, and they are met by Claudia and told to sit at this table, and they told them they have to play a game. And the game that they were going to play is called Death Match. And they had 2 cards in front of them, and they had to look at the cards. And one card, there was one life card, and the rest were death cards. And so your goal is to get the life card in your hand. So you could, on your turn, you could trade cards with one person and hopefully get the life card and try to keep the life card. So Fazia picks up her cards first, and she has the life card first in her first round. And so that means Alexander, Leon, and Anna has death cards all in their hands. And so Anna chooses to pick the card from Fazia, which happened to be the life card. So Fazia knows Anna has the life card. And Fazia says, I could ask for it right back because it was her turn. She said, but then Alexander would know that that's the card, and then Leon would know that that's the card. And I think Anna telling everybody at the round table that she got recruited and said no, I think she deserves to stay in this game. So I'm just going to let her have it. So she didn't ask for a card. She switches up and goes for Leon's card. Alexander goes for her card, and Leon goes for her card. All death cards. So Anna wins the first round. Anna gets to leave and go right back to the castle. So they continue the next round, and Leon has the life card in his hand. Alexander goes first. He takes Leon's card. Takes Fazia's card, death card. Fazia takes Leon's. No, Leon takes Alexander's card, the life card. Very excited. And I think Leon had Alexander had the life card, and then Leon took it, and then Fazia took it. Nope, no, it wasn't. Leon had the card, the life card, and Fazia took that card from Leon, and then Alexander took the card from Fazia, and so Alexander ended up with the life card, and he goes to the next round. So the next round starts when we get the cards, and that's how it ends. So we are left on a cliffhanger, but we know it's between Fazia and Leon, and we don't know which one of them is going to make it back in the morning. And we find out that whoever dies is going to know the fate of the traitors, because the traitors will have to kill them face to face. So somebody's going to get a shock on television. Well, right then and there. They don't have to wait to uncloak to find out who are the traitors. They will find out right then and there, and going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. But that is that. We don't know who is going to go, but I can't wait to find out. I hate that this is the last episode of the week, so we have to wait till next week to find out, but it's fine. It's fine. I can't talk about UK Traitors anymore this week. I've talked about it enough. I need a minute to decompress, and I'm about to say decompose. Y'all, come on. It's so late for me. But I'm about to decompress and get relaxed. But I will be back next week to talk Traitors UK, episode 7, 8, and 9 next week. So we're going to talk about all of that. Maybe I'll recruit more traitors to join me. Who knows? Maybe I'll just continue to do it by myself because I like talking to y'all. And I hope y'all like listening to me and whatever. Let me know in the comments if you do. If you don't, you can tell me. it won't change anything because I'm still gonna be here. I'm still gonna do what I do. But if you don't, you can say it, and that's fine. And I'll be like, cool. But if you do, I love you, and just hit the subscribe button if you haven't done it already. Do that. Hit the subscribe button. Let me know that you are checking us out. Leave a comment. Who you think is how we think the Traitors are playing this game? Are they making some mistakes? Do you think they're doing it right? Let me know what you think of this season. I am in love with it. I love it so much. Um, Let me know what you think. Hit the subscribe button, the notification bell. Follow all of our other channels. All those links, YouTube links, will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links, so you can check us out on the go. Our Patreon, so you can get early access and exclusive content across all 4 channels. And you can follow all of our socials at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. And you can follow me on Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok. Those are all the same, but we won't have TikTok that much longer here. So, it is what it is. But Lemonade, you can follow me on Lemonade. So that's also the Power by TikTok. Same handle. And my Instagram is right there. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, that'll be cool too. And get your merch, y'all. Get your cup merch. Get it all. Check it out. And I am going to head back to the turret because I'm starting to feel very traitorous again. So I'm gonna head out. But y'all have a good night, okay? Cheers to you. Bye. Cheers.